The Sovereign Shift, how to escape fiat failure and grow exponential wealth with Bitcoin. This is Chauncey Hutter, and I'm doing this short presentation for business owners. If that's you and you make money in your business, this is extremely important for you to hear because the money is broken, and that's what our conversation is about today. Now, do you remember this tsunami? It was back after Christmas. I know it's been a few years. It was a real tsunami back in 2004. It was the day after Christmas. I have this vivid memory in my head of watching this on the news. There were people on the beach. There were, I think this is in Indonesia or some place other side of the world. So it wasn't in my neck of the woods. But I'm watching the people on the beach. They're showing how everybody was playing and the kids were playing in the sand and everybody's having a great time. And then there's this big cliff right next to the beach. And above the cliff, you could see out into the ocean. And there's this big, nice luxury hotel up there and the swim pools. And they showed people up there. And these people could see way out into the ocean that were up on the cliff, and they could see something was coming. They couldn't tell what it was. It was just in the distance. And they kept on looking at it, and they figured out there was this huge wall of water coming towards them. And then somebody figured out, hey, that's a tsunami. Like that's danger. That's a problem. So they start screaming down from the top of this cliff down to people on the beach. And people can't hear them. It's too far away. And so they're just enjoying their day at the beach, and they're playing with sandcastles. They're running around, playing in the water, until this tsunami, this great big wall of water, gets closer. And all of a sudden, people on the beach see it. They start to panic. People start to run. It is too late. And the sad part is that wall of water, that huge tsunami, wiped out the land, all the trees, the buildings, the roads, the people, everything for about a mile back. It was horrific. It was horrible. And the people up on the cliff they had to just watch this. And the news reporters were talking about how devastating everything was. And it's awful. And I see that in my mind, this wave and this destruction happening. And then I see the news, and I understand markets and what's happening with money in the financial world. And I just have to say there is another financial tsunami on the horizon. I feel like I'm standing at the top of the cliff and I'm looking out on the ocean, and I see a big wall of water coming, and people on the beach that are going about their day doing their normal business activities, so to speak, don't see this thing coming. And I just want to help warn people that you can do something ahead of this tsunami, this financial tsunami, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I call it the perfect storm. It's three things in this perfect storm. You've got a fiat collapse where money loses value fast. And fiat just means government issued money. So fiat money, it's collapsing. Like the value, you can't do as much with it anymore. Okay, so you have $100 that you go to the grocery store back before COVID. Now you fast forward a number of years, and nowadays that $100 to get the same amount of groceries might cost you $200. It might cost you $150. It obviously depends on what you buy, but the money is losing value. Okay, so there is a financial fiat collapse. Now, the second part of this perfect storm is AI disruption. AI disruption is, we all know that we're losing jobs. We all know that industries are vanishing. We all know AI and robots are going to do what they're going to do. And this is not new information. An example of old days, Kodak printing out your pictures, you take it down to your local Walmart or your CVS or whatever to get your pictures printed out, and you come back, and that was the old way, right? And new way is you have a smartphone and you have a digital camera, and you have AI on that phone, whether you realize it or not, for a number of years. And it just the camera alone destroyed Kodak. Just the smartphone, you could take 1,000,000 pictures and it doesn't even matter. They all cost zero. And so that is an example of AI disruption. I could give you many, many examples. That's just what I'm trying to say is that's number two. We have fiat collapse where the money is not, it's losing purchasing power. You have AI disruption where it's taking away jobs and industries are going to be affected. The last thing on this perfect storm is a depression coming. And I mean, this is not new information either. You hear on the news every day, people talking about, recessions and whatever. I'm not talking about recession. I'm talking about historic depressions. I'm talking about full-blown historical changes in how money works, going from analog to digital, and how it's going to affect industry after industry after industry. Now, everybody has an opinion. Every economist will tell you different things. I will tell you mine's from research from The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking. It goes back to tracking the last 200 years. What they found is they tracked land sales, the buying and selling of land the last 200 years. And they found an 18-year cycle. Every 18 years, a cycle happens, and they've shown it in their research for the last 200 years. One time it did not happen like this, and that was at right after World War II. Other than that, it's the same 18-year-ish cycle. And sometimes the economy is up, down, but it looks like the same pattern. And we're not going to get into the depths of all that research and what the deal is. I just want to plant this thought into your head, like every business owner, every entrepreneur is thinking, okay, there's some 200-year cycle that shows what the market's going to do every 18 years. Where are we in that cycle right now? And I'll just want to say, be aware of 2027 and 28, 2027, 2028, 2029, in that range. And so we'll come back to it. Now, fiat money. It's the world's biggest Ponzi scheme. Now, fiat money, again, is just government issued money. So how can I say that's the world's biggest Ponzi scheme? Do you remember what happened back in 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard? The dollar decoupled from gold. You remember that? And now I was just young, but I've read a lot about it, and I've seen our nation completely shift monetarily and financially, and inflation is a whole new thing for decades, all because of this switch. Now, why is your money worth anything right now? Why, like the money in your wallet, the digits in your bank account, why is that worth anything? The reason why it's worth something is the government says it is. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by anything. It's backed by a government saying it's worth something. That's a little shaky, but let's go to the next item. Government printing. We all know government prints money. And we all know that printing money causes inflation. But inflation, we hear this, nah, nah, nah. It's like white noise in the background. Inflation, inflation. Well, inflation is really a hidden tax. When the more you print, the less valuable your dollars or the money that you use, the fiat money that you use, becomes. And so you can only buy less than what you normally would buy. So it acts like a hidden tax. Here's the part that got my attention. Politicians, they are going to be politicians. And so if the money system is broken, and if we're constantly having to print to make more money to keep things afloat, which is what a Ponzi scheme is all about, do you think the politicians are going to default or allow our nation to default on pick your financial institution, your retirement funds, your insurance, your mortgages, your whatever? No, they're going to print money to save stuff because they want a job. Here's what got my attention. back during COVID, during an 18-month period, we printed off in the United States trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. So much so, what we printed off in 18 months was was actually more than what we had done over 245 years of the United States being a country. So we printed off this much money over 245 years, and then in 18 months, we printed more. That is a red flag. Okay, that's a problem. So next item is there's no, just for you, so you know, there's no fiat currency in the history of the world that has ever survived long-term. In the 5,000 years of recorded history, not one time has a government that issued out the currency over a long period of time continued. Over time, it failed. They either printed more money, they either made more seashells, the people in charge of whatever they were using for money thousands of years ago or 100 years ago or now, they added to it, they made more of it, so they couldn't help themselves, and they made the currency worth value less, which caused a problem, and then over time, that currency went under, it collapsed. And so we are in the middle of one of those situations at the end of it, actually. We're in the world's biggest Ponzi scheme, and a lot of people don't even know it. Now there's hope. There's Bitcoin. Some people have no clue about what Bitcoin is. Most people don't have a clue about what Bitcoin is. Some people have heard things. I'm just going to tell you, Bitcoin is the lifeboat that's going to save not just you and me, business owners, but people, the populations in general. Bitcoin is not crypto. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. You hear the horror stories and negatives and people losing money and all this craziness about crypto stuff. The Bitcoin is the safest place to have your money on the planet. Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a once in a generation opportunity. I do 2-day workshops for business owners, and all we talk about is Bitcoin and how it can help you and gives you hope for what the situation is. And I don't even cover it. I mean, we just cover the surface. So in this presentation, I'm just going to say a couple of quick things. Bitcoin offers real store value without the inflation stealing your money. Like, everybody is freaking out about their money getting less valuable and they don't have any place to put it. It get eaten up. It's like an ice cube on a hot sidewalk melting. Your money is melting. Bitcoin, long-term, not the short-term volatility, 4 years minimum, 10 years, decades, you want to put whatever your weak, broken money, you want to buy the strong money, which is Bitcoin, and you want to hold it. It is a store of value. That in and of itself is a huge, huge deal. But what we've found out is it actually is, if you go back when Bitcoin started in 2009, it's the highest performing asset on planet Earth. Not only is it the safest, most secure asset on the earth, way more secure than some bank or your bank, it has produced, depending on when you start and how far back you go, it's 40-some% on your money, 60-some%, 65%, 100% plus, depending on when you're watching this and when you bought Bitcoin, over time, you have the greatest gain just as a building wealth by itself. And it's storing your value so you're not losing money like all the other fiat currencies. And it's the safest and most secure asset. So properly stored, and you self-custody, so you're your own bank. You're the bank, not somebody else. You get to opt out of the current broken financial money system, the broken financial system, and Bitcoin is permissionless. No one controls your money. You self-custody, you probably secure it, and then you're safe. So when all this fiat fiascos going on and inflation's going on and broken money is happening, depressions are happening, you're safe. And that's the point. Now, what people don't realize is Bitcoin and AI are like kissing cousins. Like this is the next great business boom. AI, we all know, is going to grow and is growing the economies and businesses like crazy. So AI is growing exponentially, but Bitcoin is the digital gold that the robots actually are going to use. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's even thinking about this. AI requires instant permissionless payments. So robots can't even work together with the old fiat money, the broken money, the kind of money that you and I use in our bank. No, fiat, the AI can't even use it. It needs a different kind of money to be used. A fiat money can't meet AI's speed and micro transaction needs. Government money or the fiat is just too expensive. It's too constraining for AI. So what is AI going to do? There's going to be Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, which is just a payment network that's I can't get into the details of, but these two together, it's the perfect economic foundation. It is actually going to disrupt. Actually, it's not gonna. It's already disrupting. Bitcoin and the Lightning Network is already disrupting our 150-year-old global payment system that is so dinosaur, it's so old and so weak and vulnerable and expensive and now we are able to have $1 million here in a wallet, in your electronic wallet, and you want to send $1 million across the world to somebody else is over there, and in 1 second with the push of a button, $1 million, I think it costs like 17 cents or it's some minuscule amount of money, and you get immediate money from here to there. That's the new, that's where we're going in this whole thing. And the old broken fiat system is dying on the vine right now. I want you to be a digital rich entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. I want you to be a digital rich entrepreneur. You don't have to stay stuck in the broken financial system. Our system is dying. You don't have to be there. You can build exponential wealth the safe and secure way with Bitcoin instead. Even if you don't know about Bitcoin, even if this is all new to you, it's completely fine. You get to move from stressed and being reactive to sovereign and strategic with Bitcoin. Use your broken fiat, your bad, broken old money that's not going to be messed with you, it's not a good, that's losing purchasing power, and you can use it to buy the strongest money on the earth, which is Bitcoin. You can build assets that outpace inflation. A quick example, if you had a house that was $600,000 back 5 years ago, that would cost about 180 Bitcoin. Today, you fast forward 5 years, that house, because of inflation, is about $900,000, but it only cost 8 Bitcoin. Interesting. Deflation, inflation, we'll come back to it. But you got to be using the right money in the right system, not the old broken system that's getting more expensive. We want to be a part of something that's deflationary, which is Bitcoin. So we're going to create a legacy about wealth while others are panicking. Like the more chaos, the greater the financial chaos, the higher Bitcoin's value is going to go. It was built for chaos. Just again, my name is Chauncey Hutter, and I've got a real life story. And I just want you to know that I haven't figured it all out all the time. I've been broke. I've been embarrassed. I've been overweight. I've been nearly dead. I know what it's like to hit rock bottom. I deal with ups and downs of not being able to pay bills. I've lost a company. I've been in debt. I've sold our home and took a $400,000 haircut. I've struggled with my health, self-confidence. I've had 6 heart surgeries in a row in about an 8-year period. We could not pay our bills on time for years. And but I found hope and exponential wealth using Bitcoin. Now, for us, my wake-up call was COVID. I did not like the government overreach. I did not like what was being forced on us. And so I wanted to opt out of this system, and I found Bitcoin was the best way to do that. Now, making money was another benefit, but protecting me and my family was what I was after. And that's what Bitcoin does. Now, community, there is a bridge. Bitcoin is the bridge, but you got to do it with people. You can't go and try to be sovereign by yourself. Okay. No one builds sovereignty alone. That's why I've created the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs Network. Okay. This is a community that helps bridge people where they are now to where they want to go. It's free to join. There's zero fluff. It's 100% for business owners, and step-by-step levels to become a Bitcoin educated leader. It's a safe place to grow. You can ask your questions, you can take action. Now, this free community is for business owners, and plus I add a bonus gift. So I want you to join the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs Network. The bonus free report is the 7 biggest Bitcoin mistakes business owners make and how to avoid them forever. You will learn a bunch just from that free report. But I want you to join our network, be a part of our free community, be a Bitcoiner. Okay, thank you very much. And we will talk very soon.